I'm gonna tell you, when I watched the Parkers, she gave me life. One of the funniest shows ever on TV ever. And then she did the Queens of Comedy, and Lord, she was the anchor. You know, she came up, and to this day, there's still certain things that you did on stage that I laugh about. The funniest lady, but now she's on a crusade to equalize the game, and I am here for it. Y'all know I pulled my seat up and I folded my hands and I'm ready. Let me welcome to the show the incomparable MoNique.
Hey, my baby. Thank you, sis.
What's going on,
Mama? What's going on?
Let me I follow you on your Instagram journey, you know, and even with the working out and the dancing,
Yes.
you know, I'm all there because I want to be inspired, and I know you're performing on levitylive.com.
Yes.
So that's why you're here, and I appreciate that. But I want to just kind of get in, you know, I'm on this movement right now where I think it's time for us to reclaim not just our time, but our dime. You know, we have to get into a position. And we have it, right? We spend $1 trillion, they say $1.3 trillion as a group of people, black folk. I watched Girls Trip make damn near $1 billion. Yes. I watched Get Out become the #1 movie in the country out of nowhere. I watched Donald Glover with Atlanta. I watched Issa Rae with Insecure. I just watched Black Lightning, which had the ratings of, you know, Marvel's Black Panther's already the #1 movie.
And ain't even out yet.
That's us.
Come on.
So why are we throwing our pearls to pigs, Miss MoNique?
Because conditioning and tradition is very powerful. And we've been conditioned to accept less. And it's a tradition to pay us less. And until someone says we've got to break the tradition. You see, slavery was a tradition. And that went on for hundreds of years. Till some people had to say, that's enough. That's enough. So when you say what's happening with us, we're conditioned to accept less and say nothing. We'll march. We're conditioned to march and sing. But to really take a stand, that's not what we've been taught yet.
Well, you have sacrificed a lot to be at the forefront of this. I watched Ellen Pompeo because I was watching Grey's Anatomy last night. You know, the big story is she's finally making money. Finally, you know, like her co-host was making more than she was, and they dared her to ask for more, and now she's finally getting her due, and it's like a big story. And then I look at you, and, you know, the Netflix deal, they paid Amy Schumer, who, I've never seen anything that she's been in that's made me chuckle or even smile, quite frankly. That they have the audacity to pay this woman, what was it, $10 million?
They offered her $11 million. She went back and negotiated $2 more million. So it was a $13 million deal.
For what?
Well.
Okay, so I'm just. And let me just be clear, MoNique. I don't get into people's pockets.
Yes.
If you can make that money, God bless you. But when we're talking about pay equity in terms of talent,
yes.
What did they offer you?
They offered me $500,000 to do a comedy special.
So they're telling me that Amy Schumer is $11.5 million funnier or more valuable than MoNique?
Well, they're saying she's actually $12.5 million.
Oh, that's right. She got 2 more
thousand
after the 11.
Yeah,
okay.
And they're saying that Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle is $19.5 million
funnier.
And when we asked Netflix to explain that, they said, well, the process we use is anticipation. And we anticipate this is the worth that MoNique will be to Netflix. But we anticipate that Amy Schumer will be worth $13 million. And my husband, who was my manager, when he was talking to Robbie Prawl at Netflix, who was the vice president of comedy, he said, well, do you understand MoNique's resume? He said, well, yeah, but we really don't go off of based on resumes. You know, that
past performance has nothing to do with future.
To do with what we're going to offer. We anticipate this is her value. So then he said, well, let me ask you something. How did you get to Amy Schumer's numbers? Well, let me answer that since you asked. She had 2 sellouts at Madison Square Garden, and she had a blockbuster movie over the summertime. She was involved in a big movie over the summertime. And that's what got Amy Schumer $13 million, $12.5 million more than MoNique. And then, sis, you hear this long pause. Well, we really appreciate what you're saying, but however, that's just our process, and it's your prerogative, you know, not to accept it. Yes.
Take it or leave it. All right, so you're leaving it.
Well, Netflix said because originally they wouldn't even get back on, when they made the offer, my husband, who was my manager, Sydney, said, no, we got to get back on the phone because you need to explain how you came up with this number. And Robbie Prawl was too busy. He couldn't get back on the phone at all until my husband had to send him an email saying, I'm sure the public would like to know and be interested in, how is it that Amy Schumer is $12.5 million, then the most decorated comedian on the face of the earth? Then we got an email back from their attorney saying, we take these matters very serious, who, by the way, is a black man. We take these matters very serious, and we will get on the phone. You let us know when you're available, and Robbie will make himself available. Now my husband and our attorney, they get back on the phone, and my husband said Robbie Paul couldn't answer any questions. He said, could you please explain the difference in numbers? Well, again, it's the anticipation. We anticipated, but you know, MoNique has awards from all over the world. Oh, I mean, we know, but we can't base it on that.
Didn't you sell out when the Queen's Comedy? I'm just.
We made history.
Right.
I can't tell you
Didn't
the
you have a
amount of
talk show?
stages I stood on. We told him all of that. My husband told him all of that, and he said, we know, but we still don't think that that's going to translate over to Netflix. So we're going to stand firm in our offer. But we're going to go back with our team, and we're going to see what they think based on the conversation we had. Netflix came back yesterday and said, after we man up, our numbers are just too far apart, so we're going to pass.
So now what? You know, I just, you know, when I watch your videos, and you've talked in the past about Oprah and other people, and that's gone viral.
Yes.
But fundamentally, what you're talking about is value and ownership. And
yes.
in the article that Ellen Pompeo did, she said it took her this long to get to a point where she was comfortable asking for what she deserved. You've always asked for what you deserve. Like, at least in recent history.
I've always.
Yeah.
Even when we were doing the Parkers, and we were a #1 show, I had to go back in. Hey, babies, these numbers is not equaling up to what you're paying me. We got to do something. It just didn't go public,
right.
But I had to go back and look at the Parker. This is not something new that I've done. And what happens is,
I was going to ask
when you have a black woman by the name of Oprah Winfrey that goes on the Golden Globes and does a very emotional speech and says, #time's up. But I would ask you, sister, when have you ever seen Oprah Winfrey at the NAACP Image Award speaking on equality? Do you remember that show?
Okay, you just put me on the spot here, MoNique.
Well, let me give you another one, because I'm sure we can figure it out.
Okay, MoNique.
How about the BET Awards? Did you see her give a speech there?
Okay, MoNique.
Okay, that might be a hard one.
Okay.
How about the Stellar Awards?
That's that gospel?
Yeah. Did you see her on that one? How about at the Pity Pat Spades and Tunk Championship on 3037?
I definitely ain't seen her at that or the CeeLo contest.
So, when you have a black woman by the name of Oprah Winfrey that's never ever stood up and spoke out for the equality of black women, but then she stands on the Golden Globe stage and says, #time's up. Well, #Oprah Winfrey, black women need your support too.
Well, one could argue, as people do, that Oprah being in that seat, you know, and giving opportunity to folk like Ava DuVernay and Iyanla now has a show that she is the example that you want, that she doesn't have to go out and do, you know, the speaking when she's doing it. So one could argue that.
They could, and that's a great argument. But someone would ask, did it take over 25 years to do that? It's a great argument. But when did we become important? See, with this whole offer that I got from Netflix and the whole blackball thing that Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and Lionsgate had something to do with, it all ties together. Because when Netflix says, well, you've been blackballed. That's not what they said, but the offers say, we know the deal with you. And that's what I was going to say.
You know, I am right now my legacy feelings. Like I'm here honoring every day, you know, people that have come before, and I watch the Paul Robesons, and we're doing something with Eartha Kitt and her daughter. You know, people throughout history, when they speak up, they've found that they no longer have the ability to make a living.
Yes.
You know, so they back in the day they could go to Paris, you know, which Josephine Baker, Paul Robeson, James Baldwin, others did to make a living. Even I talked to Ta-Nehisi Coates about that. You know, that there's always a place that you can go abroad, but a prophet's not welcome in his own home. So you're getting labeled now. You know, you're difficult. MoNique is difficult.
Yes.
You know, we don't want to work with her because she's difficult.
Yes.
And that carries, as opposed to you being celebrated for standing up for yourself, you're being labeled as difficult.
Well, I understand why that label is there. Because to say no is difficult. You don't say no. Do you know what you look like?
You look crazy turning down $500,000.
Black woman. Aren't you just glad we welcomed you to the table? But you're telling us no? Are you crazy? So when you have a group of people especially 3 black people that we consider the powerhouses in our community: Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. Now you have Lionsgate. You have these 4 entities that got on this bandwagon that said, she's difficult. Now, I can't say Oprah Winfrey said that. She just never said anything. But because Oprah Winfrey called me up and tried to convince me to work for free. See,
So what now?
Oprah Winfrey called me up during that award season, and, you know, they were going to Cannes, and they wanted me to go international. And she called me up and said, hey, what is it going to take to get you here? I'll send you my jet. I said, sister, I'm in the bed with my man and my babies watching Curious George. I'm going to take this time off. And then she wanted to speak with my husband. And they began to talk, and he said, Oprah, at what point do you draw the line in the sand? See, MoNique doesn't have a deal with Lionsgate. MoNique's deal is with Lee Daniels. She's done all of her obligations. She owes no one anything. And Oprah Winfrey said, you're right, now understand. Because I've had to draw the line in the sand, too. Then it became the Oprah Winfrey Show, as she went on to tell us all the decisions and things that she had to make to let people know she was Oprah Winfrey. And then my husband said, well, let me ask you a question. What's different between MoNique and you? Why, when MoNique draws the line in the sand, it's now looked at as a problem? No, I understand, and you're absolutely right. So here's a woman saying you're absolutely right and sits in the platform she sits in, but wouldn't go publicly and say that woman owes nobody anything. She's absolutely right. And then to get a call from a man named Tyler Perry as he was in the Bahamas. And he called my husband and I up. And after a lengthy conversation, he says, I was wrong. And MoNique was right. And my husband said, Tyler Perry, let me ask you a question. If this happened to you, would you want someone to come forward and say that they were wrong and you were right? He said, yes, I would. He said, then what are you going to do with MoNique? I'm going to come out publicly and say that she was right and I was wrong when my movie comes out. Boo. Now, I can't speak for Oprah Winfrey, I can't speak for Lee Daniels, and I can't speak for Lionsgate, but they were all in it together. So if Tyler Perry was wrong, are the rest of them wrong?
That's algebra all day long. That's math. We're talking with MoNique, the one and only MoNique, who I'm actually, I admire her comedy and her acting. But what she's doing right now is a sacrifice that I don't know many people would do. I just talked about this yesterday. You know, people have to eat. You know, people do some strange things for change.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll accept things because you know, your economy says my mortgage is due, and
Yes.
my car payment is due, or my babies need, you know, the school bill is due.
Yes.
And, you know, so you'll take a check because you need the money.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen this, you know, we were just talking yesterday about Angela Bassett working for Tyler Perry. You're like, Angela Bassett? Why does she have to do a Tyler Perry movie, you know? And now she's got 911. I'm really happy and I support her. But, you know, why isn't she making $20 million a year? One of our greatest actresses of all time. I'm glad that Viola is finally in this position. But she's been awesome for a long time. Not getting her due.
Not just now. Good Fences didn't just put her there. Viola been a bad sister since she stepped on the scene.
Come on.
But see, what happens is, here's the secret. They go on what we anticipate policy. We anticipate what you're going to bring. We know about your resume, and we know about all you've done. But we anticipate, and there's no one that polices it. So I can tell you anything I want to tell you, and then I can tell you, take it or leave it. And if you remember, Louis Gossett wrote a book about Hollywood. And there's a quote that's in that book, and he said, what Hollywood knows is what one nigga won't do, another nigga will. And that's true to form. But with this one, I can't. Because if I do that, sister, what does that give Tiffany Haddish? What does that give Leslie Jones? What does that give all the female black comedians that's coming up behind me? What does it give to the ones that's not born yet? See, I'm an Academy Award-winning actress. And if I take those offers they keep offering me, what does it give to the sisters who didn't win it?
Right. Right, because you've now put a value on it that is less
And what they do is they will say to you, well, we pay such and such this,
right.
So why won't you take it?
Listen, time's up, MoNique, time's up. I look at Jamel Hill, ESPN,
Yes.
right? When they suspended her partner refused to go on the air without her. Because they went to him and said, go on the air without her, or we're going to put another co-host. And he was like, well, if she's not there, I'm not there. And ESPN had to do something different. They had to wait for her to come back.
Come on.
They had to make a different decision, right?
Come on.
And when we don't stand with one another, when we don't stand by one another, you know, we put ourselves in a position to be taken advantage of. I think what you're saying is absolutely right. You know, I was talking about a woman that lost her TV show, and they were able to call up another black woman and sit her in that seat. And I thought that there was something inherently wrong with that, because it made it easy for them to do that and pay her less than they paid the
Louis Gossett Jr.
Come on.
say?
So how do we get us to value ourselves enough to make the kind of sacrifices that you make, not just in entertainment, in corporate America, you see it, you know, whether you're a teacher, you know, how do we get us to stand up for one another like you are?
You put on their shoes. You simply put on their shoes. You say, let me change places with you for a second, and let me see it through your eyes. But as long as we're in a country where we have the president saying what he's saying, and people ain't speaking out, so we have to simply put on their shoes. See, I go into the school system, and I see those teachers, and I put their shoes on. So when I'm talking to them babies, I ain't talking like no entertainer. I'm talking like your mama, your auntie, your sister, and I'm saying they're the lowest on the totem pole. And you want to give them your ass to kiss? There's always applications for bums. You want to fill one out? So we have to just keep talking and keep talking out and keep talking up, even at the sacrifice of Hollywood may never call on me again. I've accepted that. Did it hurt me financially? Y'all heard about the tax liens. See, I had to say no to things because I still couldn't waver. Even though all of those things are happening, I can't waver because I have sons that my husband and I are raising. And one day our children will have children. And when they hear about their grandmama's story, and I might be long gone, I want them to say, she stood for it. My grandmama and granddaddy didn't lay down. They didn't let them walk over them. And maybe in one of the generations, they'll be treated fairly. But I'll be the sacrificial lamb, as they call it. But God damn it, I'm going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep speaking till I'm on my last breath, and they get ready to say, we get ready to take you to the next journey. Well, shit, let me say the last bit. Fair. Equality. Because if not, Hattie McDaniel's death is in vain. If not Eartha Kitt, Louise Beavers. If not, the list goes on and on. And whenever I get to my next journey, I don't want them sisters looking at me saying, God damn it, why didn't you speak up? I want them to say, job well done. Bitch, we know you broke, but job well done. We got some sandwiches and Kool-Aid.
No, we're going to make sure your ass ain't going to be broke, MoNique. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for everything that you've done, everything that you're going to do. I pray that God puts me in a position to be the blessing to you in your life. I just, you don't deserve to be broke, ever.
And I joke when I say that, so let me be clear, because
you ain't really broke.
This audience, I want to say this. I don't have any fans. Because fan is short for fanatic. My family has been good to me. See, these comedy shows, they sell out. When I go to the theaters, they sell out. So what that public is saying, we got you, and we love you. So I won't say broke, I'm just playing in universe, please forgive me. But what I will say is, you gotta pay me my just due.
All right, so levitylive.com. Let us support you. How do we do this?
West Nyack, Levity Live, tonight, tomorrow, 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. And sis, I gotta let my brother get on the mic. Tonex, I need you to get on the mic because this is my comedy partner in crime.
Who is he?
Okay, this is my...
yourself.
Tell him, brother.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
All
My
right.
name is Tone X, Grown Man Comedy, and like she said, we're going to be at Levity Live, 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night. Don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Comedy is still the best medicine. And in this society, in this country, if you don't think you need a laugh, something is wrong with you. You better come laugh, love, and live with us this weekend.
Are you doing your exams?
Huh?
Or are we out that month?
Well, it's not Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And since there's an influx,
Come on.
there's a plethora
Say it.
of allegations that's coming down, these sexual allegations. I'm not going to put myself
Okay.
in the position for some woman to come in about 4 to 5 years and says, I was at Levity Live.
I respect.
And I went to the merchandise table,
Come
and that
on.
grown man with that incredible voice, he gave me a breast exam, and I willfully let him do it.
Come on.
And it felt great.
Say it.
But I just didn't feel right with that right hand.
20 years later.
Kept cupping.
There you go.
5 years
Boom.
later. So I'm not going to do that.
I ain't gonna do
Okay?
it.
I'm not going to do that.
But I might need one.
Oh.
Well, let me just tell you this.
So
You
it's
got, well, you're a grown woman. So you got 24 hours.
I haven't had one in at least a couple of months, Tone.
Well, you got 24 hours, meaning if something go wrong, you let me know by tomorrow.
Okay. That's
And
a
we'll
deal.
fix it. Don't you let me leave New York, but you ain't getting nothing.
Oh, baby.
Hilarious.
It's going down tonight. It's going down tomorrow. Levity Live, West Nyack.
That's in New York.
That's
For those
in New
people, 'cause
York,
it's a
baby.
national show, but there are a bunch of us
That's
in New York.
Right, that's in New York. So if y'all in South Carolina, okay,
It's a drive.
your ass ain't gonna make this show. But when I get closer, we gonna let y'all know about it.
All right, go to levitylive.com, Nyack NYACK.levitylive.com for details. It's already sold out, so I guess you could sneak in or something, or just sit there and beg or something. I don't know how they're gonna get in.
Now
It's
I
sold
got
out.
tickets at the door for people.
Okay.
I left 2 tickets for Oprah.
I
I left 2 tickets for Tyler.
So come and say your
I
Oprah.
left 2 tickets for Lee, and I left 2 tickets for Lionsgate. I'm keeping it friendly and I'm keeping it open because ain't nothing but love.
I love you.
Did you leave my pair for Jay?
Jay?
Who? Sure.
Jay-Z. You left my
Oh,
pair?
I'm
I know
sorry.
that's my man.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, so there's at least 10 tickets.
Is it 10?
10. That was
Because I
10.
don't think I'm gonna leave Oprah 2. I'm gonna leave her 1.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't want Gail and Stedman to be fighting over who gonna get that other ticket.
Oh, Lord.
You see, now we got the well, let's
Okay, all right.
okay.
Look at the
Sis,
time.
stay
Look
with
at the
me.
time.
Stay with me now. I want you to just stay with me because I gotta share something on my heart. And I know I can share it with my sister.
You could just. No, I'm
I
not.
gotta share it with my sister.
Get off the mic now.
I gotta share it with my sister. They asked Brother Stedman, they say, what you think about Oprah becoming president? And Brother Stedman say, she would love it. And then Gail went on the TV and say, no, he made a mistake. He didn't understand. I was waiting for Oprah to run from round the back and hook Gail up in her neck like, you don't talk on my man like that. What's wrong with you? But that didn't happen. So that's why I'm only leaving 1 ticket because I don't want to cause no conflictions at Levity Live with Oprah Stedman and Gail. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to respect that relationship, and I'm leaving my sister 1 ticket.
Oh, did it get warm in here? The shade. Okay. Well, listen. I will.
I'm not.
You got me. I'm speechless. All right, we're going.
This is a love. This is not enough. These are love tickets that's being left.
MoNique, man, listen. I know the show's gonna be fire. And I'm sorry it's sold out. Can we see it somewhere? They're gonna stream it or something?
You know where you can see it? You can see it on Netflix when they give me $20 million for my special. That's when y'all can see
Netflix,
it.
the anticipation.
Yes.
We need to let them know. We need to let Netflix know. I'm anticipating MoNique having a special.
So this is what I'm asking y'all, my loves. All of you that's listening to my sister, so I'm clear about what I'm asking. I am asking that we boycott Netflix until they treat female comedians of color fairly. Now, when Netflix, Robbie Prohl, considers me a legend, he said MoNique is a legend. Well, they also said was Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. So I'm asking that we boycott Netflix until they pay me what legends get. Thank you, my loves.
Thank you, MoNique.
And let the congregation say, pay her ass.
Pay her ass. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought we were going to say amen.
Pay her ass.
What we saying?
That sound like amen, don't it? Pay her ass. Come on.
Pay her ass. MoNique, Academy Award winning queen of comedy, the one and only, the queen herself. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, baby. Thanks for having me, sis.
All right, guys. It's the Karen Hunter Show. We'll be right back. All right.
Karen Hunter Show.